Robbie Williams stars in his own biographical picture, but with one notable difference. He's portrayed as a chimpanzee, and this entry on IMDb had me laughing because of its wit. Now, this is based on the true story of the meteoric rise, dramatic fall, and remarkable resurgence of British pop superstar Robbie Williams, following his journey from childhood to being the youngest member of chart-topping boy band Take That, to his unparalleled achievements as a record-breaking solo artist, all while confronting the challenges that stratospheric fame and success can bring. So once you get past the shock that Robbie Williams is shown as a chimp, it becomes very natural to watch the entire film play out with the CGI ape. Now, if you don't know who Williams is, he was part of a very popular British boy band Take That, and then went on to a very successful solo career. This movie, much like the Freddie Mercury and Elton John films, examines the life of the rock star, and it doesn't shy away from the negative aspects of their life. The story is narrated by Williams, and he gives us a vulnerable and raw insight into who he is and what he went through. From following him as a cocky tween who wasn't wholly popular, to exploiting that same cocksuredness to gain just a spot within a boy band. All the speed bumps and the obstacles that he puts into his own way are shown, which then takes us on a trip that's filled with sadness and anger, but also some beauty, joy, and humor. Now, I'm a very minor Williams fan, meaning I was familiar with a few of his popular songs. But what got me interested in even checking this out was the combo of the chimpanzee gimmick and the fact that this is directed by Michael Gracey, who also directed The Greatest Showman. Now, maybe that's not a selling point for you, but for me, that was huge. And I went into this thinking that it was going to be an unnecessary Planet of the Apes musical that nobody asked for and even fewer would want to see. I came out of this wildly surprised. The music is enveloping and high energy, giving us good exposure to the artist and his music. So even if you've never heard a Robbie Williams song, you will walk out humming at least one of them. The pace of the story, it is also quick, but it's not rushed. We don't spend time on irrelevant time periods, but we are shown a good portion of his home life, how he grew up, the impact that had on his entire life trajectory, plus all of the major milestones that he experienced as a growing pop sensation. And that's a bit surprising too, because the movie, it's 2 hours and 14 minutes, so it's not a short watch, but I was fully glued to the screen the whole time without feeling any downtime or dragging. And then there's the acting. Actor John O'Davies is doing the mocap for Robbie, acting out all of the physicality as well as choreography that's needed. And there is a ton in this. And just like within the Planet of the Apes films, an amazing amount of personalization is created within the character and the expressions, bringing a ton of intimacy and personality to the chimp. I mean, I got so used to seeing him that way that it became normal, and I no longer saw the ape, just someone emoting that drew me in with sad and hopeful eyes, a snarky smile, and some phenomenal vocals. Now, in addition to Davies, there are also some standout performances by Steve Pemberton, Kate Mulvaney, Rachel Bano, Damon Harriman, and Allison Steadman. Now, together, they all contribute to key moments within Williams' life and career. And I was especially floored by the dynamic that's created between Pemberton, Mulvaney, and Steadman as dad, mom, and gran, respectively. Each of their influence on Williams, it is palpable and at times very heartbreaking or devastating. Their stories are interwoven throughout, just paramount to all that affects and drives Williams. And each actor, they are more than living up to the task. Another dynamic that had me glued to the screen was with Rachel Bano, playing Nicole Appleton, who was not only a member of another hugely popular pop group at the time, but was also romantically involved with Williams. Now, the interactions we watch can both be sweet and crushing, with the duo convincingly showing us the best and the worst of their love. And the entire film is a roller coaster of emotions. Sometimes we're riding very high and loving the fun, and others we're taken to the depths of despair where all seems dire. The balance, it's hard to maintain, especially if the film doesn't want to leave us all dour and depressed at the end. And luckily, thanks to Williams' story, we end this portion on a high, full of hope and encouragement. Now, with the CGI, because it is present throughout the entire film, most of it is amazing looking, with excellent texturing and shading so that it appears realistic. There is one massive dance sequence, though, that takes place through a London street. And while a lot of it is practical, the graphics that are in play, they get to be a little blurry and noticeable. Not just with the chimp, but some of the surrounding elements also. And this wasn't a breaking point for the movie or the storytelling, but it did stand out even though the massive scale choreographed song and dance number was just incredible to watch. And it's kind of funny where another recent biographical musician story, A Complete Unknown, stays away from pretty much any sort of background development on any of the characters. Here, we are shown so much depth that it's difficult not to feel a connection with so many of the people. Even if the character was portrayed to be unlikable, there was good reasoning attached, and that response then made sense. Now, in case you're curious as to why Williams is shown as a chimpanzee, there were one or two lines of dialogue that stood out to me that expertly illustrated the impetus for his appearance. Williams talks about how it's said your life stops the moment you become famous, which for him was like 15 or 16, and he never evolved past that point. It's a poignant moment within the story because it shows how he has finally grasped what part of the root issues that he deals with are. There are certainly more contributing factors, but this realization, it is a spectacular growth point within the story, and it works to make the performer even more endearing. Now, I know this played at some festivals before it had its limited release in the theaters. I was only able to see it about a month ago, and I haven't been able to shake it from my memory. I mean, that's shocking. Again, I didn't think this was something that anyone was asking for, and I couldn't understand why it was even being made. But the way the music, visuals, and ultimately the vulnerability hit me was haunting, and now it has me craving to see it again. I mean, this fires on so many cylinders that it will have appeal to really a wide range of audiences. There's a tangible family focus, showing us heartbreak as well as joy and encouragement. There's a visceral look at addiction, both from perspective of fame and its allure, as well as from drinking and drugs. We're also shown the tragedy of loss and how that can devastate or solidify a relationship. And then there's spirited and catchy pop songs full of earworms that are going to stick in your brain whether you want them to or not. Finally, there's simply the showmanship of both an entertainer and the director. Robbie Williams isn't subtle or shy. I mean, his confidence exudes in a contagious manner, inviting all who watch to join in on the fun and the energy that he brings, which is all then tied together in a frenetic but focused story filled with immersive concert-like experiences and down-to-earth quiet moments. This is an excellent, unflinching story that's self-told by the subject himself, using cockiness and hubris mixed with self-effacing humility and vulnerability. Robbie Williams, whether portrayed as a chimpanzee or the man he is, shows us through the impeccable direction from Michael Gracie all that he achieved and ultimately learned on his journey to become a better man. There is sex, nudity, an absolute ton of profanity, and some violence. I give Better Man 5 out of 5 couches. I mean, this was a massive surprise for me. I just can't wait to see it again. Is there a musical artist that you would like to see showcased in a biography? Let me know who you'd like to see in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.